is celebrated, or it's a day that has been set aside to look at exactly what those issues are that affect persons living with, various forms of disabilities. The question that I ask, though, this morning is that as a country, do you think that we have understood, the kind of issues that disability inflicts on the individual, and as well, how well have we done considering integrating persons with disability into the various sectors of our economy? Well, her refusal to have an illegal abortion has, to an extent, shattered her dreams of becoming a media practitioner. And I'm talking a story of a physically challenged single mother, Selina Boache, who's going through one of the agonies of life because her boyfriend neglected her when she got pregnant. So Patience Atipoka Etua, she's another, one of us here at GH1 TV living with disability, and she has more in this particular report.
Biopoku, a normal community in Dansoman with lively people. But in one of his households, the heart of a physically challenged mother bleeds. This is the story of a vibrant woman who is stuck in the room just because the man who put her in a situation that she finds herself in right now has refused responsibility. A man who had promised to love her unconditionally neglected her when he found out she was pregnant. Her crime was that she did not agree to abort the pregnancy.
I got pregnant, so I told him about it and he wasn't too happy with it. And he wanted us to solve the situation by terminating the baby. And I told him I can't do it. If I don't want to terminate the baby, then fine. I should choose between him and then the baby.
25 years ago, Selina became paralyzed after suffering from convulsion. In spite of her condition, she was determined to pursue education to the highest level. She fell in love when she met her boyfriend while reading communications in a tertiary institution.
Movement was quite difficult for me. And I was anemic. Yes, I was anemic from the beginning, but I was going for antenatal, but sometimes I skip it because of financial support. From here to Kwalebu, I have to take taxi. Sometimes feeding wasn't easy. As a pregnant woman, how to feed and how to get my transportation. And even if I get to the hospital, the drugs that they write for me to buy sometimes becomes a problem. I remember skipping about 3 drugs.
As Selina bears her heart out to me, I couldn't hold back my tears as every line of her ordeal broke my heart. A physically challenged mother now relies on the benevolence of friends to cater for her baby. This is not the life she dreamt of.
People who are physically challenged, especially the women, most people go through this. Most people go through this. I don't know if that is the myth around us. Because we are physically challenged, people think we don't have anything doing, we can't do anything, and all they do is to come win our trust and just leave us like that, which shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. It's very painful. Very, very painful. All that I want is to get a job. A job that I can earn something at the end of the month to be able to take care of myself and that of my son.
This innocent baby needs his father, and I can only hope that when he sees this report, he will own up to his responsibility. Patience Atipoka Atwa, GH1 News.
All right, the woes of A disabled indeed, and that's a report from our very own patients who will be joining us, in the course of this conversation to share her own experiences. But now I am joined by an entrepreneur, Gladys Agbenu, herself a physically challenged. And now that I use the two, I'll be asking Gladys, what she makes of the argument that addressing them with, physically challenged is probably more appropriate than saying a person with disability. Gladys, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I must say that congratulations.
Thank you.
You seem to have done so well for yourself. Yes, you are a business person, you tell us.
Yes, please.
What do you do?
I operate on non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages
Okay.
at Coligono.
So it's like a bar,
It's a drinking spot.
a drinking sport.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Alavanya Sports.
Alavanya Sports.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get there. I'll bring you back to the business and how it all started.
Okay.
Let us come back to your childhood days. Okay. Growing up, how was it like for you? Were you born disabled, by the way?
No, please. I had my disability when I was 2 years old. I was told by my mother. I learned recently that she didn't take me for weighing, like she didn't immunize me, take me through the process. That was the cause of the illness. So when I was growing up, I had my disability already. But
how did that make you feel to think that it was probably through the neglect or probably could it have been ignorance? Is it that she didn't know that she had to take you for all of those?
She knew, but even though my dad was there, my dad wasn't like, he didn't even take care of my mother, so she was like a single mother, even though the husband was there. And going up and down, she had 2 kids already, taking care of them by herself. And like, she didn't have the education. She didn't know that not taking me to the hospital for immunization can cause me this.
She didn't know what the implications would be.
Yes, so like, she didn't take me. And
how does that make you feel?
Anyway, growing up as a disabled child, even though I was going up and down, mingling with my friends, sometimes there are places that they go, things that they do that I couldn't do. And if I sit back looking at them, I say, this thing cry, I can do it too. But because of my leg, I feel very bad, neglected too. But as time goes on, I accepted it as that is who I am. And therefore, I have to do something. So when they are going, I follow them. Even if I have to crawl, I crawl and follow them. And there was one girl among them. She was older than us. Anywhere they go, she carries me at her back and takes me there up and down.
It's interesting. You were telling me early on as well that I think you've been to school through up to about what, SHS level?
Yes, yes.
I mean, we've heard stories about how that persons or children with disabilities are usually refused enrollment.
Yeah.
But you managed to do up to SHS level. How did you manage to survive? Were there instances where some of your colleagues tried to mock you or, tease you because you were, disabled or physically challenged?
Okay, for my case, when I was in lower primary, I didn't face anything like that. I was loved by my friends. But when I was growing up, getting to junior high, and even when I was in junior high school, I was in the choir. In fact, I sing very well, so I was in the choir. Anywhere that they go, they normally select the good ones among us, and I was always part of them. So I didn't feel any discrimination. But I didn't have much knowledge too about disability issues. So even if I'm being maltreated or not, I didn't feel it. I feel I'm part, like it's part of the
You always felt a part of the rest of them, your friends and
Yes.
the people that you engaged with.
Yes.
Okay, talking about you being a choir star, I mean, I love to sing as well.
Okay.
You want to give us a few lines before we continue the conversation? Or you promise to do that before you exit the studio?
Yes, please.
All right. Don't think I'll forget. I'm not going to forget.
Yeah.
All right. So then you've been fortunate then, you know, because then you've been kind of accepted. Where did you grow up?
At Kolegono.
Kolegono.
Yeah. I was born there. I grew up there.
You grew up there.
And I'm still living there.
But so then what? After SHS, you decided to start business?
This business, I've been there for a long time. In fact, that's what my mom do. She does it for a long time. So I've been there for it's more than 30 years now. And it's like a family business. So when you are born into it, that's what you do. When you come back from school, you come and do it. And so I'm already into the business already from childhood. So when I grew up and I saw that like there was no any employment for me. In fact, disability with employment is been a big issue in Ghana now. If you are a person with a disability and you are looking for an employment, it's very difficult. Even when you get there, your disability alone disqualifies you.
Share with me your own experience, an instance where you tried, looking for a job elsewhere and were refused.
I wanted to work at the Kolebu records department, and I've sent my CVs, applications. I've sent them a lot. Anytime I go there, go and come, and I realized, and even the place is not even accessible. You climb stairs up and down. It's very stressful, and they'll tell you go and come, and I realized this is not helping me. Nobody is ready to employ me, so I said, let me take up from my mother.
You think that it was because of your disability that you didn't get the job?
Yes.
What makes you think so?
Because I went in with a lot of people and they've been employed. They're still working there.
Could it be because you probably didn't meet the requirements, or?
And they didn't tell me anything. At least they should have told me, oh, and Gladys, you didn't meet the requirements, so we can't employ you. But it's like go and come. And I know in the disability law too, we have about, I think government has 10% quota for employment for us. And most of our people are not working. We have people who have master's degree and things, but they are still in the house because of their disability. That's why I'm saying maybe it's because of my disability. That's why they were not employing me.
Well, yesterday marked the 26th day of persons with disability. It was actually marked worldwide. And the question we asked this morning again, that has the lives of persons living with disabilities in Ghana changed? Do you know any person with disability or any physically challenged person that you think their lives have been transformed, considering that 26 years we've been, celebrating or marking this day just so that we could, help better the lot of, these group of persons. You want to share with us on all our social media platforms. Let me quickly, take you back to one other story as captured by the GH1 News room. So persons with disabilities, they've always been seen by society as sexual and as such do not have sex. Okay, well, people think that physically challenged persons have children at their own risk, and for such a person to voice anything in relation to sex, it is enough to draw attention and embarrassment. Patience, again, throws light on some of those barriers to sex by the physically challenged. Take a listen.
Sometimes when they are out there, they are not able to ask, but when they come closer to you, like kind of have become your friend, then they ask, hey, please, so can you have sex? I'm like, why? Am I not a human being? I have feelings, and we have other persons with disability or physical disability who have given birth, who have had sex, got pregnant, and have given birth. So why are you asking?
That is one of the weird questions Christiana Nkrumah, a physically challenged person, is asked daily concerning her sexual and reproductive system. Many people think because she suffers a form of disability, it means she can't have sex. Even Christiana's boyfriend, whom she thought had accepted her personality, consistently doubts her ability to give birth.
And others also doubt whether you can even be pregnant and give birth for them. So I remember I dated a gentleman who was like, if you want me to marry you unless I get you pregnant. And I was also saying that my belief doesn't tell me that way. If you don't believe that I can give birth, then pack your things and go. So that ended the relationship. He was doubting my productive my productive system, whether I'll be able to give birth.
Accessing information on reproductive health is always a dilemma. It is an option most persons with disabilities would not dare venture. Not because the information may not be available, but due to the fact that they are often seen or expected to be non-sexual and mostly treated with disrespect. Living a life filled with challenges as a disabled person, being pregnant or having a child is an extra hurdle for Faustina. Not because she cannot take care of her baby, but due to the way she is treated by the society she lives in. Being wheelchair bound and mother to this beautiful baby, she shared her experiences with men and their families.
Now my baby we are saying about we inquire also pen. When an aquanium. Now I had to say bia one canny pound and I say bia. I'd say bia one canny pound and I say win ye nipa. Nipa no a fire from. In Tibasana was Anna. A young moon tranquilano. O poor hospital. The boo how by your fine. No boo on so. But also one as a quarantine. Now I had to say, only any time. Now I had to say, what yet, Bisa, on Passa, Obesum, Abia, Obajiwa, one, I'll bet me, I wanna, Obeso Macro, it be on way and a tenty, on bound chain.
Communication barriers, absence of ramps, accessible healthcare equipment, hospital forms not capturing details about a person's disability, distance, economic capacity, and so on have served as barriers to accessing information and services about the reproductive health of the disabled. It is every mother's joy to bring forth a healthy baby, but for a mother with a disability, your nightmare is to bring forth a child with a disability, just like you, due to the harsh conditions and stigma by society. Patience Atipoka Atua, GH1 News.
All right, well, another reports by our colleague Patience Atipoka Atua. Indeed, we're likely, to be joined by Patience as well. But I've been joined by a second person. I don't know if I should call her a guest, because she's interning currently, right here, GH1 TV newsroom. She's Selena Boache. Selena Boache actually was captured in the very first story that we aired ahead of our conversation. So she, according to the story, almost had her dreams shattered. Her dreams of becoming a broadcast journalist shattered because of her refusal to have an illegal abortion. Well, she's here. I won't say it all. I'll just have her share her own story and her own experience, and then we'll look at the ways forward. The question that I asked early on, though, the fact that if you know a physically challenged person or a person with disability, would you say that today their lives have changed, considering all the, social intervention programs and all the, initiatives that we're supposed to, as a society, make available, just so we can make our life better for this group of persons? You want to share with me on all our social media platforms. Selena, good to see you.
Same here.
So yes, we carried your story early on. That kind of sets the tone for our conversation. Tell me exactly, how did it all happen for you?
Actually, after my media school, I was home and then I was going out with my boyfriend then. And then I got pregnant. So I was 3 months gone by then. And he was like, we should get rid of it. And I said, no, I can't do that because look at my condition. And if God has blessed me with a child, the fruit of the womb, why should I terminate it? And so I was compelled to choose between him and then my unborn child. Yes, that was the decision he made me take. And I was like, okay, I will choose my child for, I don't know what the future has for me. Yeah, so I stood on my grounds, and since that 3 months going, I didn't see him again until I gave birth.
I mean, fast forward, I mean, per what we saw in the reports, he seemed to be doing so well. How old is he now?
He's 1 year, 1 month.
A year and a month old.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
Benjamin at Atikwateng.
And you take care of Benjamin all by yourself?
Yeah.
Family supports?
Yes, family, friends, sometimes church also supports me in one way or the other.
Now, I said that you are interning here at GH1.
Yes.
Was that the plan from the beginning? I mean, you were in journalism school. When the pregnancy happened, you thought, okay, I guess I'm just doomed for life. How did you manage to get in?
Actually, I broke down when I got pregnant, and all hope was lost until it was through this television program, celebrity television show, hosted by Afi Antonio. And so I loved Nana Banamwa so much. I have passion. In fact, whenever I see her on TV, I don't know, something just clicked within me. So I'd wanted to meet Nana Banamwa. And then I told Afi Antonio my story. And she was like, okay, you're pretty. I would love to be your friend. And so when she became my friend, we started talking. That was when I told her my story. And so she put it on Facebook. And then someone from GH1, I think Ruwan, took it up. And then they came to do my interview. And thank God, this is where I am.
And so it was after that conversation that you had with Patience
Yes.
that got you in.
Yes.
And I'm imagining, so now you'd been dying to see her, now you work very closely with her.
Sure.
What is that feeling like? What was your reaction the first time you saw Nana?
I can't explain.
I can't imagine.
Explain because it was like a dream come true. Yeah. And GH1 is one platform I really admire. I always wish and pray that I will definitely get something doing here. And I want to use this opportunity to say big thank you to Nana Banamwa for giving me this great opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Listen, there are suggestions that fear is usually what holds back a lot of businesses from, having an all-inclusive staff strength, if you like. You find yourself here now. You came to meet Patience,
Yeah.
and indeed, it was through similar reports where we were able to get Patience in as well. What for you do you see going on, and how do you think that other businesses, or probably, do you think that it's some strategy or some formula that some businesses should be emulating?
Yeah, I think persons with disabilities are talented in their own ways. And so if businesses, stakeholders, any kind of company give we people with disabilities the platform, yes, we can't do much movement, but then we have the brains, we have the knowledge, we can bring it up. We, in one way or the other, we can also contribute to the benefits of the company or anything that comes with it. So I think, in my own view, I think we should also give the platform to persons with disability. We shouldn't look out to the outer alone, but also the inner side of it.
Well, I mean, if you ask me, I'll just say that, once they qualify to do the job, why not? So irrespective of their status as to whether they are disabled or not, if they qualify, why not give them the opportunity? But early on, Gladys, who started the conversation with me, was sharing her own experience as well, some of the challenges that she's been through, in her efforts to find a job to make ends meet. So Gladys, I think I'm sorry that I cut you in at a point. You were talking about your experience with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. So what happened from there? And then was that the reason perhaps that you decided to join the family business?
Yes, that was the reason, because I have 3 kids who I have to take care of.
You have 3 children?
Yes.
How old is the oldest?
13 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, and why not join my mother in the business? Because there is a family business. Why should I go and work for somebody to pay me at the end of the month, whom they are not even willing to give me? So I decided to stay back, help my mother, and that's work too. It's not easy at all. Selling, going up and down, packing the bottles. It's very stressful, but I managed to do it because I don't have anything else to do.
Do you have the support of the father of your children?
I didn't give birth to with one man. I had my first 2 kids.
Okay.
With the
share,
first man, but
wow.
he's not responsible. He doesn't take care of the kids. He left them for me alone. That is where I met the second man, and he also promised to help me. So he's been helping me. In fact, he helps me at the spot. And my mother left the shop for me, I think 2 years now. So I do it alone with the help of my husband. Yeah.
Okay, so he's your husband now.
Yeah.
Okay, you're lucky then.
Unlike I call him my husband because we are together. We are not married yet.
You're okay. Yeah. You're not legally married, no. but he's still supportive. I'm getting some of your messages, and I'll be reading a couple of them as we go along. But let me know as well. I mean, if you know someone who is physically challenged or disabled, do you think that their lives have changed? As a country, do you think that we have done well in terms of properly integrating persons with disability in all of those various sectors of our economy? I want to hear from you on that one as well. Let me come back to, so Selina, how is it like, working, or with the kind of work that you're doing now, and considering your challenges, how are you able to merge the two?
Well, I think firstly, because I have the passion for it, and so in one way or the other, I'm able to adapt to the situation. Moreover, the reception here is cool, it's very great here. I don't think I've encountered any difficulties yet. Yeah.
So exactly what do you do in the newsroom?
Actually, I help in coming out with the international news with patients and
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, let's take one other story, and indeed, these are all compilations of patients who is herself physically challenged, and one of our own working right here, GH1 TV, in the newsroom, thanks to Rosemond and Abanamwa and the entire team here at GH1 TV. So this one says, well, probably you and I may be guilty of this. So watching and watching again when we spot a person with disability. Have you ever done that before? I must confess I have. Have you stopped for once to probably ask yourself how that it feels like to be watched, not because of your beautiful attire or maybe that beautiful skin or facial beauty like Selena was alluding to early on? She made a friend because she was pretty face. But probably because of the lack of an arm or a leg or some kind of a difficulty. Well, here's another report by Patience. In this particular report, she shares how society looks at her, and of course all the other challenges and issues that herself and other persons, physically challenged, encounter.
It is not your usual cinema, yet we watch it as such. On a normal Saturday, I'm sure most of you are off to the beach to visit friends and to have fun wherever you choose to be. But for persons with disabilities, we are confined in our rooms most of the time, and even on special holidays. The only places that we feel comfortable and at peace to express ourselves is amongst our own, just as I am here. The body is distorted. I walk in a funny way that you may not be accustomed to, but to look, take another look, and sometimes take a steady stand to have a good watch is frustrating. It is demeaning and hurts. As a growing kid, my mother used to tell me people watch me and tend to look again because of my beauty. But as a fully grown adult, I know. If I didn't know then, now I do. I am looked at, I am stared at, and sometimes chuckled at because I am disabled and as such different. It is not always the disability that is the problem. No, I have learned to live with it over time. The eyes, the looks, and the glares, and sometimes the little chuckles that welcome persons with disabilities like me whenever I enter public places or mingle with normal society is the challenge. It is a constant reminder that I am disabled, alien, and do not belong. I get called shy, antisocial, and not engaging. I am the opposite of all these. The attitudes when I'm seen dancing to a tune or voicing out my opinion on issues have never been welcoming because I am disabled. Society expects me to be mute and not opinionated or engaging. When the looks get too much, it is difficult to coordinate my walking. At that point, I am hit with the most dreadful thoughts. I am going to fall to the ground and the pity will start. It is not just me who have been forced to live a life of isolation. The 10% of Ghana's population who lives with one form of disability or another share their experiences.
Sometimes it's very embarrassing because it's a mixed feeling. You don't know why they are looking at you. It doesn't make you feel welcome in most situations. If you are entering a chapel and there are people seated before you, you enter the chapel and everybody will be looking at you. Or even in the church, you are dancing. People could video you and circulate it on social media. And then people will watch it and you become a sort of a laughing stock and people will make fun of you, make mockery of you.
I don't go out, I stay indoors. They watch me when I go out. That's my major problem, why I don't go out. But I don't care what they think about me. Though I'm a disabled person, but we are the same. Despite the fact I'm moving with crutches, doesn't change anything about me. So I'll plead on them not to look at me too much. Because looking at me a lot can make me fall down.
All right, well, so Patience Atipokatwa has just joined the conversation, and Patience, good to see you.
Good to see you, Baisiwa.
I'm one of the few people, the first people that kind of befriended you when you joined GH1.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this chick, and I love you even more now. So listen, this is how you feel when you were in public places and all of that, even in church.
Yes, even in church. In fact, woe betide you if you go to church late. If you're not strong enough, you may go back, because you get to the entrance and everybody's attention is on you. And the thing is, you don't know, is Is it because you're late or it's actually because you're disabled? Because you see there other people walking late and then just a few people stare and then they turn back. But for you, almost everybody wants to catch a glimpse at you.
Does that not make you feel special?
Special? I think now it does. I think now I've accepted who I am, what I am. I don't really care what you think about me. So I think it makes me feel special. I go like, oh yes, I draw the attention. But before, it actually, it made me feel bad. It made me not to mingle with society. I used to miss church a lot. My mom, I tell my mom, oh, and I don't feel like going to church. And she'll be like, oh, just rest. She didn't know it was because of the looks.
Oh, you never told your mom?
I never told her.
You never
I
did?
never told her.
Why? Why did you hide?
I know my mom, she would feel bad.
She would have, oh.
She would really
But at
feel
least
bad.
you have dealt with it. You're telling us now that now you have accepted who you are. So you, I mean,
I will go in late.
Star with whoever, you know, watches you that way. Selena.
Yeah.
I mean, church is the most holiest place that you would think that, you know, you would feel more accepted than anywhere else.
Sure. Well, sometimes, like she said, it is true when you are late, especially, and they go like, "Oh, okay, that's her," you know, that kind of look. I can't remember. I sat beside one lady, and but then my child was also with me, so I don't know if it was because of my baby, but the next moment I realized she has moved from where we were to the back. I felt really bad.
That is serious.
I felt really, really bad. And I was like, really? Okay. But, you know, I just let it go.
Gladys, have you felt like that in church?
Not in church.
Not in church, but
in the church row. I was sitting by one lady, and she doesn't even want my body to touch her. And I was looking at myself. I was even looking much fresher than she is. It's true.
High five. There you go.
Oh, but she doesn't want my body to touch, and she was pushing, and I thought maybe she was giving me more room. So if she pushed, then I relax my body. Then she'll be doing like this. I said, oh, if you want to be like this till I get to my destination or you get to your destination, then fine. So I was relaxed.
So addressing stigma issues is still a big deal. Do you think, just before we're wrapping up, Patience, I wish you had come earlier, but it's okay, we've kind of run almost all your reports. Do you think that the Disability Act has addressed some of these concerns and issues faced by persons with disability?
The act, it has tried, yes, it has tried, but the problem with the act is it hasn't been, it hasn't been enforced. The act hasn't been enforced. So people are actually not doing the things that are supposed to be done right. Because they know if they break it, if they are not doing it, no one is going to take them on. I think as much as possible, we should try and then enforce it. Make sure that people actually abide by the act. There's this thing I always say, that even the highest hierarchy, those who make the laws, they are building. The very place they sit to make the laws are not accessible. Not at all.
Listen, ladies, unfortunately, we have to wrap up here. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you. At least I think I know that for persons with some form of disability, they fall under the Gender, Children and Social Protection Ministry. So another question to the ministry is exactly what it has done, you know, to ensure the welfare of persons living with disabilities or physically challenged persons. We'll be looking at, you know, all the arguments, physically challenged or disabled persons, exactly what is government's role, and of course themselves as physically challenged persons as well, what role that they have played, you know, in projecting their own, you know, concerns, you know, for better livelihoods for them. All right. Well, listen, we're live on GH1 TV, live on DSTV channel 361, on Facebook. We're streaming live as well. Your messages are coming through. We'll read them as we wrap up the show with Coffee Day. But of course, next up is another rather interesting conversation that I'm sure you don't want to miss. So stick around, don't go away.
Life know the sweet though, hey. If some people know they hate you, so use the number C.